as we move through October into November, I think big changes are on the way for some of you, especially into the Pacific Northwest, and there could be some really cold air that starts to move into this part of the country. Also, by the way, have you seen the new data that came out from the Climate Prediction Center this week? It's almost reassuring for me personally to see this, because I keep saying I think it's going to be colder than average across a good portion of the northern tier, especially as you get towards the central U.S., just because of this type of La Nina over to an ENSO neutral phase. And that matters because, with an ENSO neutral phase, you look back to winters of the past, and it's almost like 2013 and 2014, which I'm not going to pull up. So if you've missed the weekly winter weather update, another one's coming this week where we talk about things like that. But there are some echoes of 2013 and 2014. I'm not saying it's going to be the exact same, but we had this type of setup, at least in the Eastern Pacific. Not every winter's the same. They're all different, but I still feel firm that it's going to be a little warm across the south end. Again, to me, it's just a little reaffirming to see that I'm not the only one seeing this type of setup. Here's what we're looking like with snow chances over the next week or so, and to the end of November, or end of the month rather, into the 1st of November. This is the best chance of seeing more than an inch of snow, mostly across the mountains. Let's take a look at the upper level pattern as we head into this week. A couple of features to look at: this upper low that's swinging out of the northeast. We also have this upper low right here that's pinwheeling across the country. Underneath it, some cool, damp conditions, maybe even a few flakes of snow mixing in into the colder areas and into the highest elevations of the Northeast. Not a lot of elevation back across Minnesota into the UP of Michigan, but yeah, underneath this cold pocket of air, even into parts of Ontario, there could be a few snowflakes mixing in. We really start to turn our attention now as we head toward the 24th and the 25th to these height lines really lining up. Look at this flow coming off of the Pacific south of Alaska and then curving into the Northwest. To me, this just screams moisture, atmospheric river. We are starting to see that sign pick up, and with the cold air loft moving in, your snow levels are going to drop. It's one of the reasons you're starting to see some stuff come out from the Climate Prediction Center talking about the risk of heavy snow is increasing the 25th through the 29th along the Cascades, down into the Sierra. You see that all the way through the next couple of weeks, and then into the Intermountain West too. And with these storms, there's going to be a lot of wind, also a lot of rain too. So there's a moderate risk and even a high risk of heavy precipitation here across Northern California into Oregon and Washington. Let's step back and take it day by day as we move through the rest of the week through Sunday into Monday. A storm moving again north and east out of the mid-Atlantic towards the northeast, weakening as it does so, but it's going to bring some rain this way. There could even be some severe weather on Sunday. There's what the Storm Prediction Center is showing here from Pennsylvania down into North Carolina. Even along the Gulf Coast, there could be a few strong storms. But by Monday, this storm is lifting away and we're watching another low. This is this cold pocket of air that starts to drop into the parts of the Great Lakes, southern parts of Ontario. It's going to be cool. It's going to be damp, and it's going to be quite cloudy too. High pressure settling in across almost right across the Mississippi River as we head into Wednesday, bringing some dry conditions, some cooler weather here across the south too. On the backside of this, we start to see some warming temperatures back across Texas again after a bit of a brief cool down, and moisture starts to increase too with our next storm that brings a chance of rain by Thursday. Here comes that moisture and those lower heights, colder temperatures, and the snow levels start to drop across the Pacific Northwest. And the onslaught begins with this moisture just driving in here. Heavy snow across British Columbia, into the Cascades, into parts of the Intermountain West, up into the Canadian Rockies. We see quite a bit of snow building, and this drops south. As we head into next weekend, we could be talking about some significant snow starting to pick up across Northern California. Some of this moisture spills further east into the Wasatch, into the Colorado Rockies, at least that far south. And then there's some question, I think, as to what happens with this energy once it gets east of the mountains. This afternoon's, or I should say really even this evening's, GFS tries to bring this low towards the Great Lakes, deepen it, put some snow on the backside of it, whether it's across Saskatchewan, Manitoba, or the Dakotas. I think that's to be determined. But this looks really interesting, at least this time frame does to me, because yesterday's GFS runs were also showing a big storm, although it was much further to the east. But the fact that this is showing up, boy, this would be one heck of a chill pushing all the way into the south, down into Texas, dropping some below normal temperatures. But remember, we're looking at, first, it's the GFS. Second, we're looking at October 30th, still a long way away. A time frame, though, I do believe to watch. Temperatures this week, we're going downhill, below average across the southeast. That's what the blue shows. orange and red, that's above average. So our temperatures will rebound some across the central U.S., but look what happens by Thursday and Friday. Really, in the eastern United States, from the central over to the East Coast, below average numbers. Warm across Texas, and then here comes that cold air moving into the Pacific Northwest, also across Western Canada, with temperatures dropping well below average. And here comes the snow. We'll zoom in a little bit closer and take it west to east now, if you're watching and timing the precipitation out through the next week or so. This first system moves into the mountains, some snow, some rain too. That kicks east, may bring some snow also out here into the prairies of Canada, into parts of North Dakota. Not a lot of accumulation expected, but nonetheless, cold enough for snowflakes. Just gives you an idea of what we're looking at. High pressure keeps things relatively quiet across the mountains through Tuesday and Wednesday, but this upper low moves towards California and the Four Corner states. That's going to pick the precipitation up across this region, maybe even some snow flying into the high country of Colorado. Our next storm takes aim at British Columbia. This could drop some really heavy snow here into the mountains. It'll drop further to the south into the Cascades, lowering those snow levels, and into Northern California, further east into the mountains of Montana, also Idaho as we head into next weekend. And like I said, maybe a big snow on the way for Northern California and a bit further south into the mountains of Utah and Colorado heading into next weekend. Let's go a little bit further east. You're drying out across Missouri, Illinois, Arkansas as high pressure builds in. It's going to set up shop across the Tennessee Valley as we get up Monday morning. So clear skies, quite a bit of sunshine on the way. Southerly flow starting to pick back up though, so temperatures will be on the way back up again. And the moisture will also start to increase as we head toward the later part of the week across the central and southern plains. Further north, this cold pocket of air swinging through. With it is going to be some rain showers, even some snow showers, maybe into parts of the Arrowhead of Minnesota as we get into Tuesday night and into early Wednesday across the UP of Michigan. I think it's going to be tough to squeeze any snow out, but maybe a few flakes, don't be surprised. And then this next system that starts off as an upper low across California, gets east of the mountains, and you start to develop rain chances again across this region by the time we get into Friday, into Saturday, and that moves east, so we could be looking at more rain heading into next weekend. As we head into Sunday, just a quick reminder, there could be some strong storms across Pennsylvania, into the mid-Atlantic, Maryland, Delaware, into parts of southern New Jersey, down into North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, and along the Gulf Coast. The main threat would be some damaging winds as we head into the afternoon. Your tornado risk, I wouldn't say it's completely zero, but it's not a huge risk the further north you go. However, watch some of these storms right along the Gulf Coast as this system pushes to the east. A few of these could be on the strong to severe side with enough wind shear that you can't rule out a few tornadoes. Heading into the afternoon, this front pushes east. We're going to start to see clearing skies further to the west. High pressure settles in almost pretty much right across the southern and central Appalachians as we head into Tuesday. So clear skies. And then rain chances going back up here from really Rochester all the way south to Charleston, West Virginia. Our front moving east, cold air aloft, stuck back across the Great Lakes. It pinwheels around this region and it moves east. Underneath it, there could be a few snow showers and some of the higher hills and the higher terrain here into parts of New York, down into Pennsylvania, and into parts of the Northeast. The Green and White Mountains, maybe a few snowflakes mixing in here, and then otherwise cool, damp, and then more rain moving back into the south as we head into next weekend. So this looks a little active heading into next, Saturday into Sunday with more rain along the East Coast. And again, I think we have to watch long term. Do we end up with some kind of big storm somewhere? The GFS has tried to advertise that for a couple of days, sometime around, again, the 28th, 29th, and 30th. I'll be watching it.